I'm Lynn Smith Gregory, and I'm the great-great-grandniece of Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon Church. And I have a confession to make on my channel, Heretic Survivor, From Mormon to Me, that I haven't been completely truthful. Not intentionally. It's just that I realize the truth is often messy. I wanted to share an experience I had at the beach this summer. The whole family gathers for a family reunion. We got there late. It was already dark. So when I woke up first thing in the morning, I'm an early riser, I discovered that my granddaughter was up as well. She was 3 years old and excited about seeing the ocean for the first time. So I grabbed my coffee and she grabbed a berry juice box, and we made our way trudging through the sand to the waves rolling up on shore a short distance from the house. And it was just one of those perfect moments. She grabbed a hold of my hand to brave the water. Just one finger, she decided, was all she needed. And I watched with pure delight at her trust in me, her innocence, her joy in this moment of curiosity and discovery. And it was one of those moments that as they're happening, you realize how perfect they are. So I wasn't expecting the tiny flicker of pain I felt a moment later. And instead of trying to dismiss it, as I might have in the past, or ignore it, or brush it off, I became curious and turned inward and said, what is this about? And I realized that that flicker of pain was me recognizing that I was present with my granddaughter in a way that I hadn't been able to be present with my own children at that age, that I was still caught up in the role of trying to be a perfect mother. And even though I had discarded, I thought, Mormon dogma and its rules of perfection, they were embedded in me. They had calcified into part of my personality. And I needed to be the perfect mother, despite the fact that I didn't think that was the only role that had any value to me as a woman. I still was performing perfection and too worried about whether or not I was doing it right to be present and then to just enjoy the moment. And that made me sad. And then I realized there was an even deeper level to the pain I experienced in this fleeting moment. And that was, as I watched her dance in and out of the waves, holding onto my hand, I realized that she was experiencing a childhood that I never had, that she could trust the adults in her life to protect her and keep her safe. And that was not something I could do. And despite the fact that I've done a lot of work on healing from childhood trauma and religious trauma, I realized that the messy truth is that we're never fully healed. We're always still processing, or at least I am. And that I'll never be finished processing the damage that was created by the intense indoctrination of a damaging religious system. And so I acknowledged the pain and I let it go and returned as best I could to the present moment. To my delight in feeling the sunshine on my shoulders and watching her dance in and out of the waves and experience the texture of the sand underneath my feet and the coldness of the water, and be present and grateful and aware how lucky I was to have this moment, and how lucky I was that I had broken the cycle of indoctrination that was my family's legacy. Dutiful, devoted, obedient Mormon members. And I realized that I was proud of myself for having the courage to leave when it didn't feel right, when I realized that it wasn't the truth, not the truth for me, and not the truth, period. So I just want to move forward in acknowledging that. And if you tune in to my channel, which I hope you will, I promise to be more candid and more vulnerable about the messy journey of leaving the Mormon Church. So I promise moving forward, as I hope you will with me, that this will be a space where we can be all of our messy selves. Because the opposite of Mormon isn't enlightened ex-Mormon, it's human. And that's what I choose today. I spent the first decades of my life trying to live up to Mormon standards, formulating my Mormon identity. And then I spent the next decade running from it, and then the next decade fighting it. Now I want to make peace with it and provide a place for others who want to share their stories, whether they're loud and angry and messy, or silent and private and personal. I hope you will feel safe here, and that it could be a place that you could find community. I promise to respond if you write me in your comments, which I hope you'll do, because I think human means imperfect, perfectly imperfect. And I'd like to know, do you have some messy truth? And what is it? Share it here. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you'll come back next week for more discussion. Thank you.